good evening and welcome to another Pain Lair. I'm Max Payne, and tonight I'm going to do things a little different. I'm going to start telling my story. And in order for me to tell my story, I got to start at the very beginning. So I'm going to start at the very beginning. I was born Dillon Peterson in Provo, Utah in 1961. And I was born to two very loving, beautiful parents, Eric and Ellen Peterson, who are also from Pleasant Grove, Utah. My father worked in a steel mill here in Utah Valley from the time I was born until he retired when I was about 16 years old. To give you an idea of who my father was, he worked at a steel mill. So, you know, if you work at a steel mill, he's a pretty rugged guy. He was just a really sweet man and had a lot of friends and was one funny dude. And he worked at the steel mill for 33 years, and in 33 years he never missed a sick day. And they gave him a pair of cufflinks for that when he retired. Yeah, Heralded Service Award cufflinks is what he got. My mother worked at a mental hospital from the time I was born. I always say I was born and raised into a mental hospital. Well, I really kind of was. My mother was so proud of me because she was excited to have me in her life. I was an oops by a very long ways. My mother was 42 years old when I was born. My father was 47, and I always used to laugh because I can't imagine what my poor father, my next closest brother to me as I was growing up, was 12 years older than me. So by the time I was 4 years old, he'd already signed up for the Air Force. This was the late 60s, and so by the time, or mid-60s, so by the time I was 4 years old, he'd already joined the Air Force and was gone to serve the country. And so I was kind of an only child. From the time I can remember, there was nobody in the house but me. So I was kind of a spoiled little fella, and my mother loved me so much. She used to carry me onto the mental hospital with her whenever she went to work, and that's a very profound statement because being raised in a mental hospital had a lot to do with a lot of who I am fundamentally because it was such an intricate part of my life. My parents, I was so blessed. I was born into a beautiful family, to two beautiful parents who loved me dearly from the moment I was born. And how can you be any luckier than that? So that's the beginning of my story. That's 3 minutes. And that's my first 3 minutes of the story of my life right here on the Pain Lair. Come and join me again tomorrow night on the Pain Lair. I'm Max Payne, and until then.